myself or the city clerk to ensure that someone understands that the meeting's being held and that they have the opportunity to be here. If we have a quorum and they're not here,
Okay, that's all.
that's their business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like any other committee meeting or commission meeting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
So-
once we get, even if we're starting it at the beginning of second quarter, should have a pretty good idea for the year at that point. And then when we go ahead and, because again, second quarter.
Correct. Paid quarterly.
So we would be in a situation for at least this first year point, and then, I mean, I guess we could let the money build up a little bit before we started spending it, instead of saying all of a sudden we just get this first check, these first.
Right, yep, and there is a reporting that has to be done to the state annually, so we do need to tell the state what we're doing with these dollars, the tourism portion of the dollars. So it would be, the commission doesn't need to meet quarterly. They can meet on an annual basis, or maybe at the end of the year, the commission can meet to discuss what to do with the dollars that have been raised or been brought in. But the commission does need to be, should be appointed by, by the April 1st date when this is implemented, if the council should agree. Does that make sense?
So there's no deadline of when that 70% has to be spent?
No, I don't believe there is. If there is, it would be an annual piece. But again, like the December, the fourth quarter of the year is not going to be received until January, so it's, yeah. So once we get it going and getting into that cycle, then we'll have a better idea of what those funds look like and be able to
So
spend those.
we'll have 2 quarters before the annual budget, and will that be in the standard budget, just with a separate tourism line?
Yep. We'll add a line to the budget for tourism dollars, or tourism tax that's brought in as a revenue. That can be used as a general piece, but just labeled as tax, tourism tax, or room tax revenue.
And obviously this gives us the dollars to do advertising, to do promotion, to do those types of things. And I think it can be used for events too, if you want to do those types of things.
Yep.
If there's things they'd like to do.
How much do we typically, I know we generally give DIG kind of an annual contribution, correct?
Correct.
These funds can be used for that.
Right. So that's kind of my thought, that then
Yep.
replace, and hopefully,
Absolutely.
in addition to that.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Essentially take that out of general fund
Absolutely.
or wherever we're taking that from now.
It increases our options on how to take care of
It
that.
does, yes, yeah, for
And
sure.
so on, and especially for the promotion part and stuff that they do.
Correct.
I mean, I think this would fit exactly where.
Yep.
Yep. So it's
Is
staff's recommendation that it be approved.
Okay.
Or at least my recommendation. I don't know about the rest of the staff, but I recommend that this is something that the city consider doing.
We looking for a motion?
Yeah, well, we can go with the motion. You can go ahead and,
I'll make a motion, we approve the implementing ordinance 20-600, the room tax ordinance.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. It's on the floor for any further discussion or questions. And as we said, whoever we get from that world of, see someone who, as you said, about for sure to do best someone that can attend the meetings. So we make sure we have those people in the room when we do. Hearing no other questions, roll call please.
Councilmember Raisler,
Yes.
Councilmember Hooker,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Weisenbeck,
Yes.
Councilmember Weishaupt.
Yes.
All 5 in favor.
Okay. Motion's agreed to. We'll get everything moving forward on that. Next, we move on to the business agenda. Mayor's report, just a few things to talk about. To my understanding, it was a spring primary smooth election. And I thank obviously the city clerk for and the staff, and of course the volunteers, or not the volunteers, but the poll workers, everybody. How many voters did we end up with?
81 voters.
Which is possibly one of the smallest turnouts we've ever had for something,
is.
since there was only one thing to vote.
Small.
As compared to the presidential when we had 1,000
Yeah.
and stuff, so a little bit of a different. Now we're assuming that the spring general will be a little bit higher by the
I'm
time
guessing
we
it'll
get
be
through.
bigger.
There's a few other things on there.
8%, so that wasn't bad.
And to do that. But anyway, we went through everything, went well. I'd like to mention, of course, this weekend, the putt-putt being put on by the Tavern League. Of course, it's always a good event. A lot of people come to town. Money being raised for the Safe Ride program, which is a big thing that the Tavern League does. So wish them the best of luck. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Also, as mentioned before, obviously we need to be appointing a commission now, but also I've been going through looking at appointments for other commissions and committees and boards for the city. I think we're doing pretty good. The one area, in fact, there will be another appointment coming up here to fill one of the positions. But on the park board, we've had a couple people move out of town. And so we have a couple of openings. If anybody knows anybody that would like to serve on the park board, we also just met with the park board, the remaining members, to talk about the future of the band shell, the future of the dog park. Although the person that was going to do the dog park report was sick tonight, but that's okay. We'll put that on an agenda. We had a good conversation, I thought. We talked about a lot of things, and one other thing about it is the band shell actually has its 100th anniversary this year. It was built in 1925. And I know that the dig is planning on having a celebration type thing in August with one of the Music in the Parks to do that. But again, we had because of a couple people moving out of town, we do have some spots on the park board. And as we said, we'll do all of these appointments coming up after the election here in April. But again, that's one area where you could use a couple of members. So if anybody knows somebody that could serve on that, that would be great. Okay, that's all I've got. The next thing I have is appointment to the Board of Appeals. We ended up having an opening, a longtime member, of course, Jerry Hammer passed away a few months ago. And we've got Tiffany Biederman Lee has agreed to take and fill out the last 2 years of his term on there. Would somebody like to make a motion to affirm Tiffany Lee to the Board of Appeals?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. And thank you to Tiffany Lee for serving on that on the Board of Appeals. Next we have Administrator's Report.
My memo is complete in the packet. I'll just review it quickly. The lease with NTEC's been signed for EMS and PD. The lease payments start March 1st. I believe they are going to be moving, is it next week, Stan?
Yeah, we're gonna
6th?
start on the 5th. We're gonna start
Right,
packing up.
to get
on the
moving.
5th.
Yeah, yep, so that's all been signed, sealed, and delivered. Exciting news, our new website is live. So if you haven't had a chance to go out there and take a look, take a peek at that. If you see something specific you'd like changed or needs to be updated, please let us know. We are working diligently to ensure that the information that's out there is up to date as possible. There's quite a bit of outdated information on there, so that all transferred over. So now we're having to go through almost each appropriately. Mayor already touched on the election that was held, and then just another quick note: the farmers market information has been put out there, and the interest was amazing. I put it on Facebook last Friday, I think it was, and there were over 125 likes and loves and 85 shares or 90 shares or something like that. So hopefully we get a good response. We need vendors and we need food trucks. So if you know of anybody who would be a good fit for that, certainly direct them to the website. All of our information's out there. So that's all I have this week.
Any questions for the City Administrator? Hearing none. Next, a discussion about setting an economic development planning session. We had the Economic Development Committee had met and started to talk about ideas, and the idea was to have a planning session, and we would invite not only City Council members of the whether it's DIG group, but DIG and so on and so forth, and try to actually sit down and do a session. And just the only thing about it is it's just plan, and we're not going to take any action, but put together things that we think the city should do to improve economic development, whether it's filling buildings downtown, whether it's promoting new businesses, whether it's helping the businesses that are here expand, or those types of things, and so on and so forth. And I'm just sort of throwing it open to setting that session. Does somebody think we should just take an evening, pick a time? I was thinking if we're going to do it, would it be possible to take a Wednesday that we don't have a council meeting? Instead, just do one of those and plan for that 2-hour session. Ideas I'm looking for. How do you think we get the most people here to have this conversation is what I guess I'm asking. I think you got to have it in the evening because you got to have people at work and so on. And again, I'm talking about starting at 5:30 or so. And so, but you know, enough so people after work could be there, and to be able to do that, so.
Wednesdays are good for me.
Okay. Let me take a look ahead. And we want to get enough time to plan it, so we don't want to.
Could we try to pick like the first Wednesday of the month? Because then I don't think it falls when a county board meeting is either.
Okay,
Just in case that might impact me, but also maybe there's somebody from the county board that would have interest in attending.
sure, we were trying to get the word out to those people too, to say we're going to have this and so on and so forth. If we did take the one on Wednesday, the 2nd of April, it's of course the day after spring election, but that's fine. It's, because it doesn't affect her, she's the main person on that, so on and so forth.
That would work for me too.
And that's all. Okay, should we plan it? Okay, so let's go 5:30 on April 2nd. And it gives us enough time to get those contacts made, to try to get those folks here for that economic development at 5:30. It will be, and again, as I said, we're going to do it as a meeting of the Economic Development Committee, but obviously we're hoping the other council members would come here and be available. And so we'll figure out exactly how we notice that type of meeting.
And who you want invited.
And then making sure we all want invited and so on and so forth. But as I said, I think we should, try to, the school district, the county, and local organizations, whether it's DIG, whether it's Blues, whether it's, of course, some of these people start repeating, the people that do the fishing contest, the people that do those types of things, would like to invite them for, and then and local business people. Okay? So let's plan it then for April the 2nd at 5:30. Okay? Next we move on to public safety. Chief Ridgway.
Just have a couple quick things. Jocelyn's last day will be March 4th. She'll be moving on to another agency. Application process hasn't been going that great. We only have 4 apps and none of them have the academy done. So they are due March 7th, Friday, March 7th. And then if we get some candidates to interview, I was hoping maybe public safety could meet before the council meeting on March 12th, if at all possible. If things don't go well with the application process, maybe we can just meet at council to discuss future steps. But we'll see who we end up getting this last week and a half for apps, but maybe plan on March 12th, maybe doing some interviews before council, if that works for public safety members. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Any questions for the police department? As I said, always with the second one, fire department and ambulance, no one here. I don't know if you had anything to report on either one of those. Okay. Next we move on, public works utilities. Engineers report. Russ.
Yes, good evening. A few quick updates. Pool project. Matt has a couple agenda items, 4 and 5. He'll cover the pool update under those items. Update on the water filter plant project. The project is tied to the current PSC rate case work that's ongoing. And if you remember, we've got intending to do an application to the DNR through the Clean Water Fund for a low interest loan. And that application and loan closing is tied to the PSC rate case being completed. So schedule from PSC for the rate case is per statutory requirements no later than August 11th. They expect it to be done into June, early July. If they stay on that schedule into June, early July, that would meet the Wisconsin DNR deadline date for the Clean Water Fund loan closing. If it goes longer than that, then we'll have to discuss a different schedule. then we'd get pushed off with the low-interest loan closing to the next year for the project. So keep your fingers crossed the PSC rate case gets done sooner so we can fall into place. We have a team meeting with Matt and our grant people and Jared, the design engineer on the filter plant tomorrow. Just close to having our final plans and contract drawings completed. Because I believe the DNR application and final plans and specs have to be in by the end of May, by the first week of June, to keep the application active. So that's an update on the water filter plant project. So hopefully the schedule works. And as I mentioned, the only other project I have is 7th Avenue East, and that's down on the agenda. Me and Matt will cover that when that agenda item comes up regarding the bid opening and bid results. That's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Anything for the city engineer? As we said, we had things on the agenda. Coming in. Anyway, department update, Matt?
Yeah, a couple quick things. We found a service leak up on Oakwood Drive Monday. In the process, we broke a 4-inch valve, so we ended up digging a 4-inch valve and a water service leak Tuesday. It's going to take us a day or two here to see if the water kind of levels back out. It dropped significantly, but we flushed a bunch of hydrants yesterday after we fixed it. So we probably used 30,000 gallons just in that. So tomorrow or the next day will tell us if we're 100% have our issues taken care of. But this leak did find us quite a bit of gallonage. So
Did it surface?
it did not surface. No, still probably about 3 to 4 feet of frost in the ground. Up in that area, there's a lot of shale, so it finds a crack in the shale, and down it goes and pops out in a ravine somewhere, just leaks into the ground. So we were using again anywhere from 60 to 70,000 gallons a day extra. We were back down to around 100 today. So again, we used probably an extra 30 to flush that during the leak. So take that off, that gets us back down into that 70, which is pretty close to normal. So normal is 45 to 65. So should get us back down to normal. So fingers crossed over the next couple days here. Touching on the water filter project, we did get the notice to proceed from the PSC for moving into the rate case study. We should be hearing back from them probably by the end of next week. They told me last week within 10 days we should have our first data request. So next week sometime I'm anticipating a data request from them about that, and then we have a certain amount of time to get back and forth. The quicker we get back to them and the less data requests they have is the faster that this project gets done. Again, the final drop dead date's August 11th, but we're hoping we can get this done by June. July 1st at the latest is what we're hoping for.
I'm just going to stop you real quick, just to add to being back with you, if you don't mind. Just a FYI, we are putting it on the water bills going out for this next week, that the water rates are going to be adjusted, are going to be increasing, and then we're putting it on the website too. Matt and I and Angie worked very diligently on a frequently asked question sheet that hopefully answers all the questions that the public might have, so we're going to be getting that on the web tomorrow. So just know that that's going to be out there, so if you start getting phone calls or questions as council members, you can obviously direct them to us or to the web with that information. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. I crossed it off my list.
Oh, were you going to bring it up? I'm sorry. I didn't want to forget to mention it, so.
Cool, and then cool applications are due March 6th, which is next Friday, for lifeguards and bathhouse attendants. So get those in. We do have 3 lifeguards, 2 bathhouse attendants, and a swim instructor as of today. So
Did you
we're
see
working
there's
on.
a new one I added?
I did not see that one.
There's one
So,
new
no.
one today.
They're filtering in.
And I see there's a assistant pool director position too?
Yeah, we've always had an assistant pool director, so essentially when our director's not there, then there's at least someone there that the lifeguards, kind of a chain of command type of a position.
And is that open yet, or do you have that full?
No, so
That's
usually
part
what
of
we do is we get all the lifeguards, we get all the lifeguards and then we hire 2 of those to be assistant directors. So usually employees that have been with us in the past, kind of moving up through the ranks, will essentially just appoint them assistant directors and they make 50 cents or $1 more than the rest of the lifeguards. Just so that there's always that go-to person when the director and myself aren't around.
And it's our understanding there's a number of other high school students that might be applying or putting in a few more that,
Yeah, we had
not like teenagers procrastinate, but.
correct. We had roughly 8 to 10 that expressed interest in it. So hopefully we can get them all. And then I know Gregory's diligently working at finding classes, setting up classes. We're working on the app for admissions. So him and he's working on putting all that together, and we'll be sitting down here after the app's come out to kind of review a bunch of that. Any questions? Otherwise, the rest of my stuff's on the agenda.
Any other questions for Public Works Utilities? Okay, we'll move on to discussion possible action regarding the bid opening for the 7th Avenue East project.
Yeah, so last week Thursday we opened bids for the 7th Avenue East project. Opened them, read them aloud, went back, tallied them up. After the tally, the low bid was right around $113,000. The high bid was about $153,000. There were some inconsistencies in the bid. We believe that we can save some money by correcting these inconsistencies. So our recommendation is to reject these bids and then send the project back out to a rebid. The rebid will take the next 2 weeks, and then we'll open roughly the 20th of March and be back here on March 26th. So it would not hinder any construction schedule.
Okay, any questions on that? And we've had discussions about this, we think the best way to go at this point, and to trying to get the best bids for the city.
And we believe that we can save a significant amount of money by correcting these inconsistencies, and this is the best way to go to get the city the best.
Yeah, go and make a motion.
I'll make a motion to reject the bids for the 7th Avenue East project and go out for rebids.
Second.
We have a motion and second to reject the 7th Avenue East bids, and then we would rebid the project. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say no. Motion's agreed to. Next, we have discussion possible action regarding some change orders concerning the pool. When this was presented, Matt and I talked about it. I said, done a lot of street projects and they haven't had a lot of, but we found out building a pool is just a little bit different. That's why you put that cushion in there. That's why we put the contingency in there. Matt, if you'd like to talk about the change orders.
Yeah, so the change orders, some of this goes back to the plan revision from the state. Again, number one there, we had to reroute some water and sewer lines outside the building. Number two, adding some hose bibs under the sink. The addition of a swimsuit extractor. We did have someone donate the swimsuit extractor, but we have to put some plumbing in for that. So that cost will actually be recouped through a donation.
So what is it, a swimsuit extractor?
Swimsuit extractor, it's basically a dryer.
Yeah.
It's a little, probably a 2 foot by 2 foot dryer on the wall. You sit in there and it just spins it.
Okay.
And then swings the water out, and water goes down the drain to dry your swimsuit before you leave.
And that was all, that was privately donated.
Caulking around the floor perimeter, we had to add some caulk. I didn't like the joint look, so we caulked those joints, and then we had to add on to the trench drains in the lobby to make sure that we had proper slopes, and the masonry for soaping in all the block around, moving the sinks from the state requirements. Some of that stuff we didn't add into that first initial change order because we didn't know exactly how much it was gonna cost us. Figured we'd do the second change order down the road. So there's your change order totaling $14,679.
And we're to the point now too, we've got pretty much all the things selected, all the colors we're pretty much set to go. I know usually when color selection, the staff would discuss it, and then when I would show up at the end of the day, they see where I would fall on, just to see if I fell into line and make sure. So, I mean, it all should come together on things like that, so. Anyway, any other discussions concerning the change order for the pool? Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the change order on the pool. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, I'd like a roll call on that, please.
Councilmember Weisenbeck.
Yes.
Councilmember Weisapple.
Yes.
Councilmember Raisler.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Hooker.
Yes.
All 5 in favor.
Next, we have discussion possible action regarding pay request for the pool from Durand Builders. Who would like to address that? Matt, you want to?
Yeah, so we're getting back onto our normal pay request schedule. Things got a little off kilter there in December and January with holidays and work frame here. So this pay schedule you'll see current for $86,169.75. That includes essentially some more of the work from the stainless gutters. We ordered our umbrellas. We ordered a bunch more equipment for the outside of the pool. Carpentry, you see the carpenter's been up there putting softening in. He's been inside putting some of the ceilings in. Doors and windows that went in, the roll-up doors went in. And then the electrician's in there running conduit. Everything is good here. Recommend approval of the change order, or of the pay request, sorry.
Make a motion, we approve pay request for $86,169.75.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the pay request. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Pay request is approved. Let's pay the bills. Just to talk about, the next council meeting comes up on March the 12th. Yeah, we'll sort of play it by ear about following public safety meeting if we need it concerning looking for a new police officer. Any other committees that need to meet, as far as we know at this point? As I said, we're going to have the Economic Development Group. And as I mentioned from before with the conversation with the park board earlier, we're going to continue those discussions concerning the, and we will be planning something when Leanna's available. She does have a report on the dog park and their plans about moving forward, and we may just include it part of a city council meeting and to be able to do that, so.
Yeah, I'll talk to you right away.
You bet. There's a big lot of these.
That's in the, payment sheet. It should be in,
The payment sheet?
yeah, it's in the one you can. It's up there.
Yep.
Yeah, so everything's on our-
Must be like signing your
That's
paycheck.
okay. Because I have the loan now. Stubs.
Not quite yet.
I don't know. I should be.
How much of this, the $7,000 check we just wrote to Excel Energies for street lights? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I just wondered what it is.
I know it was cheaper when we put those new lights in down there, because Matt got that deal with the energy assistance deal.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all LED now.
Yeah, because we were gonna like go every other, but then it was cheaper to have them all replaced, like still by 25%.
Yeah.
I just wondered how much it is.
Sure somebody could tell.
Realistic estimate.
I thought they all ran on solar.
Hey, what?
I thought they all ran on solar.
No. I wish I did.
No.
I couldn't.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the vouchers?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the vouchers. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hooker.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Raisler.
Yes.
Councilmember Weisenbeck.
Yes.
Councilmember Weisapple.
Yes.
All five in favor.
Motion to read to. Any other future issues or agenda items for anybody on the council? As I said, the next meeting's on the 12th. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor say